Hi, here we are on lesson 3 of time-lapse drawing a Bentley Mulsanne Mulliner, and what I'm doing now is I've decided to do a lot more work on the front because that's where all the detail in this car is going to be. I want to capture the viewer's interest and I want to make it exciting to look at, so I'm going to expend all the effort basically on the front of the car so that people look at it and think that it's nicely done. So the best way to do that is to concentrate your efforts and to make it as dramatic as you can by big differences in color from white to dark. And then in the middle you have to have some subtle shades too. As you see on the side of the hood there, right between the grille and the headlight on the left hand side, you're right, that there's a dark band that goes up the side of the hood, and that's because it's in shadow, just like the side of the car is, that goes up and over the two doors and onto the rear. And so by balancing the light and the dark off against one another, you get to make it look a lot more dramatic and interesting. If you don't get far enough up on the colors, then you tend to make it boring and it all is the same color, and then it just loses all of its impact. So you want to make sure that you play one color off against another. Now, right now, I'm kind of light on all the colors except for the part that I'm doing right here on the lower valence below the lower air intake. That's going to be darkened up quite a bit because in the photograph that I'm using as the basis for this car, it is very dark. So I'm going to go over that with a special emphasis on making it dark enough. But normally when I first put it down, even though they're the darkest colors on the car, I don't darken them as much as I could so that I make sure I don't go too far. I want to not get so dark that I have to make everything else darker. I want a light, light, and I want a dark, dark. And then in between, I want to be able to play off one against the other. If you take a look at the side where I'm doing the hood right now, the side of the hood is dark, very dark, but it's right next to a highlight just over the headlight. So that's going to make some interest right there. People are going to be drawn to that, and your eye automatically looks at that and says, ah, that's sunlight that's striking there. And when you do that, it makes it so the story is understood better. Okay, just doing a little bit final work there. And you'll notice that on the highlight, I did put a little bit of dots in there, and I did that because it's close to the value that the photograph has. But you see, I still did leave it very light, and all the corners and all the edges are light also, so that your eye again looks at those and says, ah, that's there because it's sunlight hitting that edge, or it's some other thing that's causing that, a reflection off a building or something else. And you instantly know instinctively what it is. So that's how you work these things. You make it look like the photograph because, after all, the photograph is a real capture of an event, although it may have been photoshopped or something else. But on mine, I don't Photoshop them. All I do is I put them down, and I might do a little bit of trimming on it, and just for the purpose of making it a little bit more easily understood. Sometimes I'll put a filter on it on the ones that I use for the headers on the page, and that's just a blur to make the dots kind of merge into one another a little bit better. But that's as much as I do. There isn't any Photoshop going on here on the video that you're taking a look at. The only thing I do is I do brighten it a little bit so that it isn't quite so dark, and I have found that by doing that, it makes it a little bit easier for you to see it, and it's hard to have a strong light up above without casting a big shadow. So I use a reasonably soft light in my studio, and then I work it from there. And I have found that to be a good combination for me. And to me, it looks the best in the output as far as I'm concerned too. So If you have a different idea about it, let me know, and I'll take it under advisement. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm getting really down close to finishing up that lower valence right now. I am darkening, there we go. I am darkening that up quite a bit, as you see, but it's because that's the way it looks in the photograph, so it's a worthwhile thing for me to do. Car's coming along great. I mean, it's going to be a wonderful car to do. I have really enjoyed it. Car I'm sure I'll never be able to own or drive, but it's a beautiful car. And from what everybody's told me who owns one, that it's a great car to drive too. Anyway, just about done for today. I hope to see you back here tomorrow. We'll do quite a bit on the side of the car. And thank you.